The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. And tonight we have Max Bendich as our guest. So, Pop, you know.
How are you, my son?
I'm great. You know,
if you're great, I don't care if I'm interrupting you. I'm greater, that's
right.
all.
And you are greater, and that's, you know, we're gonna go. I know we've talked about it before, but it's still a remarkable story. You know, I mean, for a person who is such an anti-war person like yourself, right, Pop? I mean, no one was more like a civil rights demonstrator. You know, we were raised with music from Paul Robeson and Pete Seeger and Bob Dylan and Phil Oakes and all this stuff, anti-war, and, you know, come together. Everything was great, good people. You enlisted in the Army, right? And you get to a point where you're stationed in France. And we were talking about it. You were talking to the crew about it before, which was nice. And we decided that we'd revisit this. So what were you doing in France during World War II?
See what you just said? You reminded me also now, Al, believe me, you reminded me. The idea that I was an old guy, 26 years old.
Right.
And if you think about it, most of these soldiers, 18, 19, 20. Mm-hmm. So I'm 26 years old. Possibility of going into the infantry.
Right, and you're 26 because it's 1941 and you were born in 1915.
All right.
So you're an old dude going.
No,
into,
really, all right. That's good. There it is.
Right.
And again, and I joined the Signal Corps only for one reason, that you go. I doubt when you're in the Signal Corps, you're not in the infantry.
Right.
And I go from here down to Fort Dix.
Right.
From Fort Dix, we go to Fort Monmouth.
Right.
Fort Monmouth, a short distance, maybe from the Bronx to
Jersey.
Larchmont or
Okay.
something. And I enlisted in the Signal Corps.
Right.
And we went. But look, again, I'm a lucky man. So we did basic training and everything, and we're going to the Fort Monmouth, which is in Jersey. You can almost walk there. Why? So at the weekend or something, I'll have time off.
Right.
Alan, again, I do this fast. Right near Fort Monmouth, boom, we stop. There's an epidemic. And we have to turn around. And the train was full. You can't get anybody off. And we went out to the west and the south. We ended up in Neosho, Missouri.
Right.
And it was a Signal Corps outfit. And Alan, that was the first break. It was a break to be in the
Signal Corps, so you didn't have to be in the infantry. Right.
That was the first break I did. And the other one is, the most important break, I was married.
Right.
Alan, I'm one of the very few, maybe the only one, who was married. And Mom, the first thing she did, she found a place in the Osho. They're poor people. And she rented half the house. And in Camp Crowder, what did they have? If your spouse is living off base, you can live off base, and that's what happened. I lived off base. Oh no, I'm glad. Alan, it started off good, Alan.
Right.
And little by little, I became a soldier.
Right.
I became and also I was with my wife.
Right.
And very, very few people. And
so when did you find out you were going overseas?
When did I find out? Oh, they tell you, you get in, you go in. I enlisted, Alan.
Right.
I enlisted, and almost immediately you have to get a physical and you have to do basic training. So almost immediately they told you you're going to get a notice.
But what I'm saying is that you were already, you were in Camp Crowder. When did you get notice that you were going to go to overseas?
Almost when you.
No, I mean, because you didn't go overseas as soon as you got to
no.
Camp Crowder.
No.
I mean, how long?
To go, I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Okay.
To go overseas. First of all, you have your duties to perform and everything else and everything. And all of a sudden, they gave you a little hint. They gave you shoes, Alan. Instead of the outside like shiny, the shoes were, the leather was, the shiny part was inside.
Right.
And why? So that they shouldn't, the sun
Oh,
shouldn't.
right. No reflection.
And when we got those things,
You knew.
we were frightened, we were sick of us.
Now, Dad, did you think that when you found out you were going to go overseas, did you think that there was a possibility that you would die?
No. You don't, things that, you don't, maybe they.
I'm sure other people
No,
did.
no,
Some
no,
people
frankly,
did.
No.
I'm sure.
No. You're scared, but what are you scared of? Maybe the scary is to die. I mean,
Right.
But Alan, no. First of all, I was with Mom,
Right.
and everything else.
But you weren't with Mom when you went overseas.
No, but I was Mom. I was in Camp Crowder about a few months.
Right.
So I was that type of life, and all I know about you're going overseas.
Right.
And by that time, Alan, what do you call it? Japan was in a war.
Right.
There was a possibility for us to go to Japan, but we were told we weren't going to Japan. We're going to Europe.
So where did you go? I mean, okay, so you're on a boat, you're getting sick.
Right.
Let's cut to the chase. Where did you go first?
Where did I go first? To Liverpool.
Okay.
We ended up in Liverpool.
Right.
And from Liverpool, we took the train, and we went from the top of England to almost to the bottom of England,
Right.
and we went down to London.
Right.
And in London again.
So you saw London, and you saw.
Right, and we lived in London.
I thought you lived in
No, London.
Cheltenham.
That was later.
Oh, okay.
In the beginning,
okay.
they had to get your different kind of outfit. I don't remember about the
Right.
outfit and anything because nothing has been happening. It all happened when we went into Europe.
When you were in England, was there buzz bombs going? Or?
Oh, Alan, they called us the crazy. It was written up in the paper. These crazy Americans, they were getting killed.
Right.
We all run out. The people run out also, and the people go, and they're used to it in the subway, and they stay in the subway sometimes all day until the signal comes out.
All clear.
And all of a sudden, Alan, the soldiers were even told to do it, get it. We didn't do it. They didn't do anything. Some of them got killed.
Did you ever see a bomb go off?
No, never saw a bomb go off. We heard a bomb go off.
Right.
We saw the bomb coming over.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, besides that, we see the British airplanes going after that bomb.
Right.
And something
Trying to
else.
detonate it?
Huh? No, not almost immediately.
Right.
They're going after that bomb, and they did it to many, many bombs. Shut it down.
Right.
Meaning, up to this point, let's say, up to this point, if it went up to this point, they didn't do anything.
Right. It's too late.
Too late, bomb.
Right.
In other words, but they shut down the bomb.
Before it could hurt anybody.
And they actually saved lives. I
Right.
mean, and still, I went down a couple of times. The women, most of it, the women. That's all. It's only women. The women were there, eating, and they were turning. It was a safe place to be, and the RAF was always waiting for them at the English Channel.
Right.
They went across the English Channel, and when they came over here, the RAF would see it, go right behind them, and shoot it down.
So how long were you in England?
I was in England. I don't remember.
But you were there for a while.
A while.
So you were in London for a while, then.
No. Again, we ended up in London.
Right.
And we actually were in a place called Bury St. Edmunds. And you actually, on the coast.
Right.
And you could actually see, that was, I don't know, there must have been another outfit. They were trying to get that close. and the Germans would come over and bomb that other, and the miserable guys who were there 2 weeks before us, they're like,
Right.
welcome to the, what is it, AEF? No, I don't remember what it was.
Right.
And I said, fellas, this is what you're going to be getting all the
Right.
time. And
So you got you were nervous about that, or?
they were very.
Okay, so and then when did you go to Cheltenham? Because that's when you was that around that time? Or?
Wait, now comes what happened. We got into London, and about Cheltenham was before that. The train would come from
Liverpool.
Liverpool, come right down Cheltenham, and then
London.
London.
Right.
And
But when you were in Cheltenham, you used to have like they used to feed you breakfast in bed and all this stuff. Right.
Alan, show you again. I forgot now. What an episode when you think about it, how lousy or. When we were in Cheltenham, everyone was given in a place where
They were billeted.
they were billeted.
Right.
Billeted means a soldier would be there.
In
The
someone's
women would
home.
take care of their family, and they would get paid for doing that.
Right.
So we're in Cheltenham, and we find out, Alan, that their son was on the Queen Mary.
Right. And where was the Queen Mary going?
To New York, right?
That's right.
About 10,000 troops. We were back and forth, We was one of the, and I wrote a letter again. We talked about this, but again, it's
a nice
memories about beauty. Listen to this, and so I read him a letter, and I said, look, fate has it. I'm in your house. Go over to my house. I live in this street and everything else. And I told Mom that it might happen. There's a knock at Mom's door. Wait, at Mom's parents' door.
Right.
Mom's parents. I knocked on the door, and the people when they saw this British soldier coming, they called out to everybody and knocked on the door. And
Sylvia fell in love with him, right? My mother's sister, right?
They almost killed him with Jewish food. And the parents were happy about it.
I know.
Oh, wait, something else. Later on in life, David went by, and he met the people.
And their children, the people's children.
Alan, it shows you about life. So, again, I'm lucky. Alan, I'm lucky. And why me?
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, so then after England, where'd you go next?
Immediately after England,
Yes.
we were on our way to Paris.
Right.
But look, I'm not kidding, because from
Right across the
it didn't
channel.
take long.
Right.
It didn't take long, and on the way to Paris, and everybody excited. And the first thing we did, what did we see eventually? The Eiffel Tower. That's where we knew we were going to be.
What did that feel like, if you can remember?
Alan, something that I never expected. A soldier, and now remember a soldier.
A kid from the Bronx.
Alan,
A kid from the
a
Bronx.
kid from the lower, not from the Bronx.
I know, from the South Bronx.
From the South Bronx.
Poor as dirt.
Okay.
Right.
But there were two other Jews. We were three Jewish people.
Right.
And we lived a good life, Alan,
Right.
while we were in England.
You also said this. You said that you had a good life in the Army. And you say that. And
I said,
you've
okay.
said that many times.
why do I say I had a good life? The things that I did,
Right.
and no one else did it. And one of the things, once we settled again in London,
Right.
once we settled in London, everything was going to be good for us, because we were getting when the guy sends you, I need 5 pounds of this and 10 pounds.
Right, requisitions.
Requisitions,
Right.
and the requisitions are, and then once something was written, Red Bull,
Right.
and when they even made a picture called Red Bull, when you forgot about everything, you made sure that Red Bull meant the fighting in Europe.
Right.
That's just what Red Bull.
And you didn't see any fighting at all?
I didn't see any fighting at all.
So how lucky, again, how lucky are you, right?
That's unbelievable. And what kind of a job would I have had? I would have made it. I was in a signal corps.
Right.
They taught me how to.
Make telephones.
It's a table, about a big table, and Company A would become. This is Company A, and they would. I need this. Company B, and they would make sure that nothing interferes with the fighting. Once they got the requisitions, we handed it to them.
Right.
And again, Alan is luck.
And part of the luck that you had was that you were able to use a slide rule, right? I mean, you were the only person who knew how to use a slide rule.
Oh, no, no. Again,
I know that's later, but that's still an interesting concept. Because the slide rule is what was like the precursor to computers and calculators.
No, they asked us,
Yes.
even though we knew, they knew, and who wants to work in the kitchen? I raised my hands. Oh, you're crazy.
You'll be peeling potatoes.
Yeah, you're crazy. That's right. Who wants to work in the kitchen? Here I knew I was doing something like this, and I went into the kitchen, Alan, one of the best jobs in the Army. People hate KP, they're crazy. Why? They make fun of it, because like you say, they peel, they actually, later on, what happened, that was a lot later on, they got machines. It's like a washing machine. Right. You put the potatoes in a machine, and there are hooks around, and as they go around, they peel by themselves.
Wow.
So you didn't have to do the peeling, but and
it beats shooting things, right?
And at that time, I met Cecile.
Right, the girls.
The 2 girls, and
these 2 girls were.
Oh, Alan! Again, I said, but just imagine. I didn't even know anything about Paris.
So you're in Paris now?
I was in Paris.
Right.
Paris, and we had parades. And who was in the parade? I showed the pictures.
I know, Charles de Gaulle.
Charles de Gaulle.
We have pictures of Charles de Gaulle. Winston
de
Churchill.
Gaulle, Churchill and Attlee and the rest of the.
And we have all those pictures.
And wait a minute, those pictures. What else? You saw the police hitting the people. They actually didn't hit. I was one of them with the signal. I had a camera.
Yeah.
I was going to take pictures, and I took pictures.
I know.
And they were coming right at me, Alan, and the police were there, and but they didn't hit. They were going like this, and I'm hollering, "La presse, la presse!" I mean, something in my hat.
Yeah.
And I have pictures like that.
I know.
Again, like you asked me, Alan? Not as a soldier, as a tourist.
Right. So your life in the Army was more of a tourist than.
Alan, the truth. I mean, again.
I mean, you had a job also. You were in charge of a R&R,
Wait a minute. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So, I joined. Finally, I joined the 2nd Armored Division.
Right.
2nd Armored Division, unbelievable what happened. People know about this. The 2nd Armored Division was given the job of chasing out the German general, I forget the guy's name, whatever it is, and they gave him the honor to be the occupying force in Berlin.
Right.
All right? The Germans made a push.
Yes.
They had nothing. They had new soldiers, knew this, knew that. They started to push us back, almost back to Paris again.
Wow.
Alan, the Battle of the Bulge, you smile. We, for nothing, lost about 50,000 people. And I said that before, but there are still people, it was one of the worst weathers in the world.
Right.
American soldiers froze to death.
Right.
They had, oh, what did they do? It's something else. They didn't. The Germans were doing a good job sinking ships.
Right.
So sometimes they needed shoes. They didn't have it. What do? They take their shoes, and they cut down the front, because in the summertime, they could hardly move.
Right.
Oh, they walked around fine.
Right.
That was the worst thing that could have happened. The winter was one of the worst winters in the world.
Right.
Here we're chasing the Germans, and we're freezing to death.
Right.
And Alan, you can cry. I mean, that's actually what happened. But they chased him far enough, and finally.
But also, I mean, let's go. Let's instead of take a drink. Instead of talking about that, let's talk about your other experience in Germany. You know, where all of a sudden you realize, you know, there might be a money, or is it Germany? It must be Germany. When after the war, right? The war is over. You're part of the occupying forces of Germany, right? Of Berlin, right?
Wait a minute. Here I was in London. I was in Brussels. I was in
France,
in Holland, and I had every happen. We get a notice. We're going to Berlin.
Right.
To be in the Battle of the Bulge.
You know, let's not get. I don't want to go to that one. I want to talk about the occupying.
No, all right. So
because we're running out of time.
Henry, no. So,
Okay.
So that's part of it.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
So what happened when the war was over?
Right.
I'm still part of the 2nd Armored Division. We were. They lost half of their men fighting in Italy.
Right.
But they
The
chased
Germans?
the American.
Okay.
Rommel.
Okay.
They chased Rommel. He was some General Rommel, one of the best. I mean, they chased him away, and they saved Italy for the. They were given the honor of being to go into Berlin.
Right.
And that we come to a river.
Right.
He sends out the general sends out troops to the other side. They were big, made out of bunkers. They're big bunkers. Now, and yet, at night they came back and they said there's not a soldier there.
Right.
They ran away.
Right.
And that's what made us lucky. And we went from there right through everything.
Right.
No, nothing. Alan, believe it.
So what I want to talk about when you were, you know, the things you did at the end.
All right. No. So what happened? One day we wake up. We're in Berlin.
Right.
And we're doing things. We were in Berlin maybe about 2 days, and I noticed people are going somewhere.
Right.
And I take a look, and I start walking with them.
Right.
And right near one of the biggest monuments, everything, the Russians, there was a Russian zone, Alan, a Russian zone. And that's where Berlin, I mean, it was divided between England, France, and everything else.
Good.
And we were in the American zone, in the American zone.
Right.
And what were they doing? And see, the Russians are talking to them, and I take a look at their arms, and whatever they got on their arms, watches. What's going on? The second day I'm there, I stand there, and all of a sudden I hear, and I know in Russian, раз, два, три, четыре, пять. Пять. Пять.
Better not talk.
Wait.
5 is a good number. You better talk quickly.
5. 5. What is 5?
Quick.
A watch like this.
Right.
$500.
He was selling it to the Russians.
We were selling it to the Russians.
Right.
The Russians got paid 5 years' salary.
All
with
at
one
once.
thing, you cannot send a penny home.
Right.
They helped out the Germans, you know, the war was over, they helped out the Germans.
Right.
But also they started to buy things. And Alan, can you imagine? It happened to me. In one hand, if you have 10 watches,
Right.
$5,000.
Right.
So you have 2 hands in it. And Alan,
How many arms did you sell? Quite a few.
Alan, it was unbelievable.
And I know that you had friends who were pilots, and then you would go, they'd fly you, and you get more watches.
No, I think I told you, I was in the, not mess hall, what do they call it? In the kitchen.
Right.
I told you, one of the best jobs in the Army.
Right.
And I had and I'm fighting with the lieutenant.
Right.
You know what happening when the trains come in and they have so many potatoes? If you have and you don't know anything that's 6 pounds, you give them 10.
Right.
3 pounds, you get nothing.
Right.
Actually, nothing. I said, get a slide rule. All you have to do. And he said, you've been bothering me. I said, I have a slide rule. You have a slide rule? Get over there and start doing things. Right. I worked in rations.
Right.
And by luck at that time, we had a company of not the RA, of our airmen.
Right.
Of our airmen.
The Air Force.
The Air Force. And I gave them food. They came. In other words, many times they had no potatoes because they'd get a 10-pound.
No, but you were able to order things because you used the slide rule exactly. So so the Air Force was getting enough food, so they liked you, and they also got some more food because they had some girlfriends, and every now and then they'd give the food to the girlfriends.
Well, that I don't.
Okay. But anyway, you were able to make sure that everyone got the rations.
Everybody got the right rations.
So they liked you. So what did they do?
They gave me a ride, and they knew about me about Paris. We were friends, good friends. We're young people, Alan, young. And they were going to Paris to get some.
Whatever.
I went with them, and Alan.
You bought watches.
I bought watches, and I get the next day. And what did I do? Send. You get money orders.
Right.
And I had that was a little later on. If he got a $300 money order, I would give him $600.
I know. So basically, I mean, you made a lot of money selling watches, right? And then somehow you were able to get it home because of. And we'll get,
Oh wait, no, I'm a little crafty guy.
Right.
Who do you have to go to the post office?
Right.
People walking in, and the guy started to know me, and he would get a little portion. I had first of all, let me tell you. Scrap. It's called a script. A piece of paper. $100.
Right.
So I would give them one or two of those papers. They loved me.
Right.
Yeah. And everything. Mom got those. And she sent me a letter. Mac, I come into the bank. Right. And believe me, I feel like a prostitute.
Yeah, because you were getting money orders from Sergeant so-and-so, Captain this guy.
No. Here, the money orders are all made out to Dorothy Bendich.
From different soldiers.
From different.
That was my mother.
But Alan.
It was something.
I felt, I'm glad I didn't feel not to come home.
Right. But you made a lot of money in a short period of time.
Now, again, we almost didn't. Yes. All of a sudden, we get a
notice,
a meeting.
Yeah.
What was everything? A Russian general. Now, this is in the American zone. The Russian general comes over, out.
Right.
And now everybody just packed up.
But you already made your money.
I know it, right? But we went from there to a different place, and from there from a different place.
Yeah. And you know what? We're going to have to go from there to a different place because there's only one thing left to say, just one.
Alan.
That's a wrap. Good night, folks.